this week's episode of One Piece, the Straw Hat Pirates set sail for a setup episode. That's not to say that this week's episode was boring, far from it. It's just that in the grand scheme of things, not that much happened this week. However, this week's episode was saved by that tried and true One Piece imagination, and you definitely saw that in the first half of the episode, which involved Usopp and Robin getting ready to go to war with help from the Tontada tribe. And I didn't like these guys at first, but after this episode, they're really starting to warm up to me, mostly because they all have really interesting character designs, and the fact that they have this really kick-ass underground military base where they ride on these beetles that have Mr. Popo lips. As if that's not funny enough, what I love is when Usopp and Robin see this for the first time, they think it's really cute, and it sort of like diminishes the fact that these guys are about to go off to war. It sort of reminds me of like Nibbler's race from Futurama, how they're so adorable that you just can't take them all that seriously. And just the fact that they're these little like fairy-type people that are riding around on bugs and stuff, does this not remind anybody of Fern Gully? Ugh. I was just reminded of Tim Curry singing as a noxious gas monster. That's a memory I did not need to unlock. For the rest of the episode, we're traveling around Dressrosa, seeing what the other Straw Hat Pirates are doing, and luckily for our scurvy crew, Dressrosa just happens to have these massive TVs all over the place, so they can watch the match between Luffy and Don Chinchao, which they actually go back to, which I really appreciate that because the fight is freaking awesome, and I wish they would focus on it a little bit, because I'm just waiting for that whole backstory to pop up. When are we going to learn about Don Chinchao? I know you guys are just going to drop this whole like little flashback arc on us at any second. You might as well just do it now. We know it's coming, but at least the action scene here is awesome. You get Luffy doing his jet cannon. He sends Don Chinchao flying, who promptly just lands right on his feet like a damn cat. But you can see that Jesus Burgess is actually watching the fight, and he's getting really, really excited. I really want to see Luffy fight against that guy, mostly because I just want to see more from the Blackbeard crew. But that's a topic for another video. Let's get back on track here. The other main part this week is that Law is essentially just being trolled by Doflamingo and Fujitora, because he's just constantly running through the forest, getting his shit cut up, and he's trying to contact anyone he can, and he actually gets in touch with Nami and them at the boat, who's dealing with that creepy-ass woman and her art fruit abilities. That's what she called it this week, and apparently she's related to the person who turned everybody into toys as well, that weird, mysterious devil fruit user, whoever that may be. But everybody is in a really tight spot right now, because Law has lost his connection to the other Straw Hat Pirates. Doflamingo is about to destroy him, but he can't necessarily kill him quite yet, because he actually has Caesar Clown's heart, and Doflamingo needs Caesar Clown to make his weird, freaky, giant gooey bombs. So that's pretty much the end of the episode, just Doflamingo just, you know, bowing up on Law, to be continued screen. There it is. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Piece? It was pretty good. It was a setup episode, but at least it had a lot of really cool designs. At the beginning of the episode, when you got to see all the Tontada tribe, I like the fact that they all have different looks, different uniforms, especially the fact that some of them are like very distinctly different. One of them actually looks like she has like multiple arms and actually has the body of a bee. There's that one guy who's wearing that like Hercules beetle armor, and he just looks really funny. And the fact that they're all just flying the bugs, just can't help it. It reminds me of Fern Gully, guys. Just can't get over that. But still, it's awesome. I can't wait to see where this part of the story is going, especially because there's all these other little bits that's going to tie into that. You actually have the scene where Frankie and Zoro meet up again, because they meet up with the resistance group that's going up against Doflamingo, and that's the other Tontada tribe members. And that's where Zoro is. He happens to be watching the match between Luffy and Don Chinchao, which is actually pretty awesome. The art fruit lady, I'm pretty sure she's not going to be a problem for our crew members. I imagine they'll be able to come up with something to defeat her, because she doesn't really seem like a fighter. She just seems like kind of a distraction, because she's not really doing anything like any like physical damage to them. She's just sort of like messing with them like in a weird way. I don't know. There has to be a way they can attack or defeat her in some way. I'm not sure how that's going to be, but it'll be interesting to see anyway. Luffy, Don Chinchao. We know that that battle is going to come to an end soon, and they're probably going to give us the whole flashback, so I don't know why they're just waiting on it for so long. But at least this episode looked consistently good. When they got to the fight scene with Luffy and Don Chinchao, the animation was pretty good for the most part, and the artwork this week was good for the most part. There were some scenes where some stuff looked a little weird, but this is a weekly anime series. This stuff is going to happen. So I liked this episode. It was just a decent episode of One Piece with a lot of cool imagery, but for the most part, it was just another setup episode. So I'm going to drop a 7 out of 10 on this episode, but if you're following the series, Check it out, it's got a few good laughs, some cool moments, and it'll at least get you excited for the next episode of the Dressrosa arc. Check it out, guys. The time has come to tell me what you thought about this week's episode of One Piece. Do you guys have any favorite moments from this week's episode? Do you have a favorite Tontada tribe member? And what's gonna happen in the battle between Law and Doflamingo? Remember, guys, before you leave, you better hit that like button or I will hunt you down. Give this video a thumbs up. It helps out a lot. And subscribe to the channel so you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews and watch our videos. That's the best way to support us. And tell everybody who hasn't seen our videos to watch Super Kami Guru 9000, because we're the shit. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. You can find links to those in the description box below. And if you'd like, you can also donate to Super Kami Guru 9000. So guys, I will see you next time. Super Kami Guru 9000, out.